Wow. UFC 196, crazy, mind-blowing. Just when you thought you seen it all when Miesha Tate choked out Holly Holm, the same Holly Holm that made Ronda Rousey look amateurish, who she left knocked out cold in the octagon. In the main event, it got even crazier because Conor McGregor, who talks a lot of shit, ended up eating shit because Nate Diaz, who took the fight in only 10 to 11 days notice, choked him out as well. Just complete pandemonium. And who was able to get on a Nate Diaz and Miesha Tate parlay? I envy you because you're a lucky motherfucker. Welcome back to the Best Damn Sports Blog. Back again, this time to talk UFC with you guys because UFC 196 was nothing but a jaw dropper in the two main events. You had two different upsets, and I was going to make this podcast just on the co-main event when Miesha Tate choked out Holly Holm. But then in the main event, another choke out, and it wasn't Conor McGregor who choked out Nate Diaz. It was the opposite, with Nate Diaz getting the best of Conor McGregor. And now my mind is just fucked like, God damn, what did I just watch? I heard that Conor McGregor was the next big thing in the UFC. He was the real deal. And he just gets choked out by somebody who took the fight on 10 to 11 days notice? Huh? And like I said, I made this podcast, the intentions of this was to talk about Holly Holm because that Holly Holm and Miesha Tate fight, I thought was a good fight. Now, Holly Holm, she did not have her best performance, but had she had not been choked out in the final round, I thought she would have won in convincing fashion. Although, I got to see the difference when Holly Holm faces someone who rushes, i.e. Ronda Rousey, compared to Miesha Tate, who had a strategy, who was more defensive, and did not just come in rushing with no regard. And Holly Holm is not as great when you don't rush her. She's not able to display her boxing skills as easily. And that worked out well for Miesha Tate. And I thought in this fight, the second round was the best round in any of the two co-main events. Because Miesha Tate had Holly Holm on the mat for about 3 minutes. And somehow, Holly Holm survived. And it looked like Miesha Tate was going to be able to get her chokehold off about on two different occurrences. And somehow Holly Holm was able to survive. It took a lot of heart and a lot of strength and probably a lot of steam out of her. But she survived and she continued on in the third round. I thought she won that as well as the fourth. And in the fifth, it looked like she was going to win. But all of a sudden, Miesha Tate slips a punch, able to get behind Holly Holm, eventually gets her down. Holly Holm tries to climb back up. Miesha Tate has the chokehold locked in the last-ditch effort to get her off her. Holly Holm tries to flip her. Doesn't work. Miesha Tate is able to keep the chokehold throughout the flip. And Holly Holm goes night-night. And just like that, the Ronda Rousey-Holly Holm rematch everyone was anticipating is out the window. Now we're left with Rousey-Miesha Tate 3 to look forward to. And what happened in the first two fights? Just the Rousey submission and the Rousey knockout. And now I think I understand why Dana White did not want Holly Holm to fight prior to her rematch with Ronda Rousey. And he's got to be highly upset. But his night got worse. It didn't end there for Dana White, the bad night. It got worse. Because in the main event, you had Nate Diaz, who is not a high-profile fighter, who is usually a middle-card fighter, who took this fight in only 10 to 11 days' notice, take on Conor McGregor, the new golden boy of UFC, that everybody is backing. Everybody loves his cockiness, his brashness, the way he talks shit to his opponents. And in that fight, like I said, it only got worse for Dana White. In the first round, it looked all good for Dana White. Conor McGregor was doing what he wanted. He was talking his shit. He was punching Diaz in the face, laughing out there. Then in the second round, all of a sudden, Diaz catches him with the left and it staggers him. And from that point on, Diaz put on an onslaught. And once he got McGregor to the mat, he exposed his weak ground game and he made easy work of him, got to his neck, punched him a few times in the process, and choked him out. The golden boy, Conor McGregor, choked out right after Holm, who was going to take on Rousey, which was going to be the biggest fight of this year, most likely the rematch, was choked out as well. Dana White has to be sick. He saw his biggest star take a loss via chokeout, and his biggest fight that was supposed to be coming up in December just get wiped out completely. And now we're left with Miesha Tate versus Ronda Rousey 3. Man, I don't even know who I feel sorry for more. The people who laid and parlayed those big favorites or Dana White. You let me know. Who took the bigger loss?